Hello, this is Jeremy DeLeon. Today I'll be talking about STEMPRO34, a key player in hematopoietic stem cell therapy. This is going to be the overview. I'm going to provide the company background and structure, give a product service analysis looking at the customer budget and utility, give some technical efficiency and cost overview. Then I'll dive into the pricing strategy analysis, which includes the elasticity of price, demand in the product. Then I'll follow with the consumer surplus and equilibrium pricing, and then finish off with some suggestions for profit improvement, keeping market share, and then also increasing it. So Thermo Fisher itself is a global leader in providing analytical instruments, clinical development solutions, specialty diagnostics, laboratory products, and services for biotechnology sectors. Their mission is to enable the customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer, with a specific or significant focus on advancements in cell therapy. They are in an oligopolistic market structure, where this is characterized by a market domain dominated by a small number of large firms with high entry costs, and firms typically have some control over market prices and conditions. Into the specific sector that we're looking at here today, it's going to be cell therapy, which involves the introduction of cells into a patient's body to treat diseases, where in the last decade, at least 6 cell therapies have been FDA approved, including CAR-T, which targets multiple cancers. These typically fall into 5 different steps for the cell therapy workflow. It includes collection, which we can see on the left-hand side, whether that's peripheral blood or cord blood. Then we have cell isolation engineering. In this case, you want to isolate your specific cell type. So from peripheral blood or cord blood, you might only want to look at HSCs, so you isolate for that. And then you would want to engineer whatever specific protein you want it to express on the surface. Then you're going to want to expand your target population. From there, the 4th step is going to be characterization, making sure that you're looking at the correct cell type and being able to expand them in different types of platforms, including culture flasks, culture bags, and bioreactors. And then lastly, you're going to want to be freezing them and then sending them into the supply chain, and then looking at the delivery logistics. Where our current product is going to be looking at today is going to be in the isolation and also expansion portion, which we'll look at here shortly. So talking about the product today, this is going to be STEMPRO34, which is a serum-free medium designed to support the growth of HSCs and other progenitor cells. It has a wide variety of applications, including differentiation expansion, gene editing of HSCs, and also iPSC reprogramming. Its target customers fall into 2 buckets. One's going to be academics doing basic research, and then the other one's going to be biotechnologies doing cell therapies or developing cell therapies, with the latter bucket being the larger and main portion of the market, given the volume. Now, thinking about the customer, the first thing you want to look at is going to be the consumer budget. For a fully developed cell therapy, the average cost of the cell therapy is about 1.4 million, where 25% of that cost is materials alone, and 50% of that is labor costs. So the key consideration here is that high cost underscores importance of evaluating the marginal benefit to cost ratio with regards to performance and cost. So customers early on in their stages might compare labor and performance efficiencies between, let's say, a ready-to-use product and a custom-prepared product. So they might want to assess scenarios where a 50% price increase of one product only increases yields of their target type up to 10% in performance, where they would question cost effectiveness. Although I haven't introduced the competitors, there's going to be 3 other competitors, where 2 are ready to use, and then STEMPRO34, and then the other competitor requires a pre-step before they use. But we'll dive into that a little bit deeper later. Efficiencies and cost. Typically, we'll want to maximize the output with given inputs. So one thing you can do is boots on the ground method, where you have technical cell specialists and field application specialists with customers to understand the current product standing, and then identify new potential fields of applications, where you would relay that to R&D to generate new product or application notes for new features of the product, which allow for optimization of procedures, which in turn could generate cost savings for new or current customers. Looking at cost, short-term costs include the labor of technicians or scientists involved in the production of new lots, the cost of raw material goods, etc. Long costs might include the technology and infrastructure, such as the buildings and R&D costs to improve overall product efficacy. And sunk costs are typically included in the R&D expense, marketing and launch cost, and also regulatory approval to market the product. Now that we've looked at that, let's look at elasticity. So there's going to be three main things we want to look at, starting off with substitutes. There's going to be three main competitors, and I think the biggest thing here for these type of structures are product differentiation, which are definitely going to influence price elasticity. Next, we saw that consumer budget. These high costs typically increase price elasticity as the material itself consumes a significant portion of the consumer's budget. And then lastly are going to be the adjustment times. Typically, cell therapies are on a linear scale. At early development, there's a lot of changes available, meaning a wide variety of products are evaluated, making demand highly elastic. And then as you go toward the clinical trials or the final phases of development, protocols and products are set in stone for the most part, which means demand are highly inelastic as product selection narrows. So given overall, demand elasticity is generally elastic due to its close substitutes and high cost, but the strong product differentiation can reduce overall elasticity. Now, looking at the table here, we have all the different products here. We have Stempro 34 at the top and the three competitors right below it. We have the price per liter since it's sold in a bottle typically. Then we have the applications on the last column there, which are taken from the product landing page. The thing that they all have in common is either the cultivation and expansion of HSCs, while Thermo Fisher Stempro 34 has three additional product highlights, which include differentiation, gene editing, and reprogramming. And if we look at that from a consumer surplus standpoint, this could increase consumer surplus by offering a superior product at a lower price, where customers may be able to pay a premium and even maintain or increase consumer surplus despite the higher price. And although the competitors share the market, the product differentiation, which includes these three applications, means this product doesn't need to completely solely rely on price, allowing for a higher equilibrium price as the product's value is perceived as. Now, looking at some potential improvements, we can look at profits. We can look at continuously innovating and improving the product quality to stay ahead of its competitors, such as introducing a GMP version of the product, since the market is moving toward a serum-free, xeno-free, and animal origin-free product, as the current product itself does have some animal origin components. You could look at some volume discounts to large consumers or customers. One other thing that's really important, I would think, is enhancing overall customer support and providing after-sale service if they already don't. With cell therapies, there's a lot of nuances and a lot of specialists in the field. So if you have an R&D scientist that produce the product, be able to connect with a biotech customer that's in the process of developing a cell therapy that might not be an expert in the specific portion of a cell therapy workflow, having those connections between the R&D department and the customer may be worthwhile. It might overcome the difference in pricing for a specific customer and might be able to pull more market share. That, and then also monitoring competitor activities and adapting strategies accordingly, such as evaluating new applications in the field and investing in R&D to develop new applications for the product. So some final thoughts. When looking at the focus, you typically want to balance overall pricing strategies with the market conditions, and really looking at the competitive landscape and evaluating your product is crucial. And then emphasizing product differentiation and customer engagement to sustain market leadership. And then looking forward, just continued innovation and strategic investments typically drive growth and profitability for Stempro 34 in the cell therapy market. And with that, I'll give my time.